Ocasio-Cortez is like mini Trump. That's what I call her, because she has many things in common with the great showman that is Donald Trump. She loves putting on shows of her own. Most recently, she apparently paid down her student loan debt while in a congressional committee hearing of some sort, House Financial Services Committee hearing, to make a point about something. She complains that she's got $20,000 in student loan debt, and she pays down $1,000 and then is talking about how the government won't do more to help alleviate people. And you know what? It's that kind of behavior that makes me really not want to push student loan debt forgiveness. Here's the thing. I begrudgingly believe we need to do some kind of program to help young people with their student loan debt. While I certainly don't like the idea that at an individual level, someone like her received over $20,000 to get an education, someone lent you money, it's a complicated system. I don't like the idea that individuals can take advantage of that. I know people, when I was college age, that were partying and going to bars, and you gotta pay that money back. Here's the thing though, as a whole, for our society, we have a serious problem. Young people don't buy houses, they don't get married, they're going and living in vans. Now here's the thing. I have a van, okay? Yeah, but I also own my own home, right? So granted, I should be married by 33. That's a whole other millennial issue. But at the very least, there is a big factor preventing young people from becoming adults, and it's being burdened with debt. So I don't believe in just snapping our fingers and wiping everyone's slate clean, but I do believe we need to stop the predatory system that colleges, these young people don't know better. They have predatory loans. They're being told all of these fancy things. And more importantly, the college education system is becoming extremely corrupt in a lot of ways. Let's stop it here. Let's figure out something. I have proposed maybe freezing interest rates, or I don't mean freezing interest rates, but no more interest. Your principal is what you got to pay down, pay the money back. It won't accrue. It's one thing to be like, AOC got $20,000 to spend and now she's got to pay back $100,000 over 20 years or whatever. So I understand the point of interest, the point of having interest on the loans, but we've got to do something to fix this problem and get these kids out of debt. I shouldn't even call them kids, they're adults. But I will stress, I have very little sympathy for AOC's theatrics when she's making $174,000 per year, more than $10,000 per month. So you want to pay off your loans? Yeah, dude, you could do it pretty darn quickly if you really wanted to. So when she goes up there and says, I've got $20,000 in debt and I'm paying it down, I wonder, did she have way more than that? Is she being responsible with her congressional salary? I understand she needs a residence in New York in her home district as well as in DC. So it doesn't need to be super fancy, but that is an expense people should pay attention to. But still, 6 figures, be responsible, save your income, pay off your loans. Let's read the story from the Daily Wire. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate. If you'd like to support my work, there's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address you can send to, but the best thing you can do, just share this video. Apparently these videos are on Facebook now, so trying to make sure I'm off all of these platforms. I typically talk about YouTube and deranking, but I think no matter where you find this video, helping share the content is the best way you can support my work. If you think I'm worthy of, you telling people that, it's like when you share something, you're saying, hey, this guy Tim Pool is pretty cool. If that's the case, I appreciate it. Let's read. The Daily Wire says, New York Rep. AOC claimed to have made a payment on her student loans during a House Financial Services Committee hearing Tuesday in an attempt to highlight the widespread burden of student debt, although I think that's not what she did. Quote, I literally made a student loan payment while I was sitting here at this chair, and I looked at my balance and it was $20,237.16, AOC said on Tuesday in the middle of a hearing. I just made a payment that took me down to $19,000, so I feel really accomplished right now. Okay, congratulations. I wonder what you did with that loan money in the first place, and you're paying it back. That's responsible and respectable. Thank you. Should I feel bad or anything? Is that in any way supposed to make me feel like I should now do something different? You've paid off your loans. Cool. Anyway, moving on. What's your point? Ocasio-Cortez, who is known for her theatrics during committee hearings, criticized her Republican colleagues for not doing enough to relieve the estimated $1.5 trillion in student debt owed to the United States. I'm hearing people on this committee say it's not our job, she said. This is our job. Interestingly, Ocasio-Cortez reported a wage of $26,581 in 2017. While her salary has grown more than 550% since she was elected to the United States Congress, the self-proclaimed radical congresswoman has apparently still not paid down her student loans. Now, hold on. You're making me defend AOC here, okay? Because rational thought is important. For all we know, she owed, $50,000 when she first got the job, and she has been aggressively paying it down. I gotta admit, she paid down $1,237 in her principal at this event. That's a lot of money. Sounds like she really is trying to get rid of her student loans. But it also sounds, here's the more important thing. While I can absolutely respect she's going to, pay more than the minimum payment, and she's going to try and actually pay it down, if she's trying to make it seem like her paying $1,200 towards her student loans should garner sympathy, you're doing what you're supposed to do. When you get a job, you can pay your loans back on. And this is coming from somebody who thinks we should do it. Now, I will stress, too, Donald Trump also forgave disabled veterans student loan debt. So at least on a certain level, he agrees. I see a lot of Republicans, a lot of conservatives saying things like, you took out the loan, you signed on the dotted line, that's your responsibility. I completely agree with that sentiment. I also think we've got a suffering millennial, generation, and we may have to bite the bullet on this one in some capacity. I don't like Warren's plan of we're going to wipe this slate clean. No. The last thing I want to do is send a message to all these people. You got free money. Congratulations. Who cares if it was partly your fault? No, it is partly your fault. You spent the money. You got to pay it back. But for what a lot of people don't seem to understand is that these student loans, the interest rates accrue, and people end up owing more money than they've actually spent. Now, I get it. Loans are structured that way on purpose. There's a risk taken, and that's what the interest is for, so you can make money on top. But if we've got a widespread problem with millennials, not buying cars, not buying houses, buying old beater vans and then living in them, maybe we need to figure out a way to get more money through the economy and have look at it this way. If someone like AOC puts $1,200 towards her student loans, I understand we're kicking the can down the road. When she was in college, she spent that money. It went to the economy. But it would be nice if more of this money wasn't going to interest and was going into the economy. A lot of people don't seem to understand how an economy works. Notably people like AOC, but that's besides the point. I mean things like, I take a look at this room I'm in and I'm like, it'd be really cool if I had this thing here, if I could build a shelf. I need to hire someone to build a shelf. I take money and I hand it to that carpenter who builds a shelf. That's money moving through the economy. I get a shelf, he pays his rent. The landlord takes that money, they pay for utilities, they fix up the building is maintained. That's how things work. Imagine if I said, I'd like to get a shelf, but $400 of the money I would spend towards the shelf has to go to interest. Well, now the economy isn't necessarily moving in the same way. Admittedly, the interest goes somewhere. It's not like no one spends that money. But more importantly, I think, is if young people are renting apartments, if they're buying homes, if they're saving so they can buy homes, and if they're having families. And I think one of the big factors is people feel burdened. There's no freedom. When you're sitting under crippling debt, I'm sure there's probably many of you watching who have student loan debt, you feel like you can't move. And you're like, I'd like to get out there. I'd like to take a risk on a career. I'd like to maybe start a YouTube channel. I gotta pay off these student loans though. And so you feel constrained. And there's a lot of people who are bad, who abuse the system, don't get, for sure. But there are a lot of people I think we can help and open up this door. I am a bit more moderate on the cause, but admittedly, it's kind of a progressive stance. I'm looking at the bigger picture for the United States. I think it was a mistake to put all these kids in college for more than one reason. You got indoctrination, stupid ideas, and now you've got young people who are saddled with debt, and they're being told communism is the answer. We should have never had these kids go to college. Trade school, entrepreneurship. These kids should have grown up learning a trade, learning a skill, and applying it. Not everyone should have gone to college. We need to figure out how to solve this problem. Kids shouldn't. We had a whole generation told you have to go to college or else. So they took out loans they couldn't afford because they were told by literally everyone. At least that's what it was like for me growing up in the city. No matter where I went, it was saying, are you stupid? You're not going to go to college? And I would laugh and be like, I do what I want. But so many others were like, they were scared. I have to do it. And now we're in this problem. So, look, you're making me defend AOC, but I'm willing. I'll put principle before I, if she's aggressively paying down her student loans, good for her. But we shouldn't get to the point where we're going to snap our fingers and just wipe the slate clean. That's not fair either. So, fairness means give a little, get a little. We're not going to just let you spend tens of thousands of dollars and walk away from it, but maybe we can make it easier and get rid of the interest that's making it so hard to pay down your loans. They go on to say that she's outspoken about eliminating student loan debt for the majority of Americans, including her own. Conflict of interest. She said, I have student loans too. And I think it's so funny that a year ago I was waiting tables in a restaurant, and it was literally easier for me to become the youngest woman in American history elected to Congress than it is to pay off my student loan debt. Stop. Please. No. You know what? It is hard to pay off your student loan debt. I get that. But you're what, like one person who made it into Congress? How many people tried and failed? There were like 80 progressive, Congress people, and like 7 made it. So don't give me that. Come on. Easier to do that. I'll leave it there. We get it. I don't know. I guess this is an excuse for me to talk about student loan debt. But I'll end by saying she's in a really nice luxury studio in D.C. She doesn't need to be. Some Congress people sleep in their offices. Apparently they're not supposed to. I wouldn't advocate for that either. They should be able to get a place to live. Doesn't have to be a luxury place. You can get a bedroom and share it. But at the end of the day, everything I said about student loans I think is fair and legit. Maybe I'm wrong. I've talked about it before. Whatever. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I'm going to do a couple more segments. I'll see you in a minute.